Hello everybody, I've been out in the shop this morning working on a video, and the video is about casting, or I'm sorry, not casting, it's about making these bottle cap pen blanks. Here are 3 of them. I started out with 6 and ended up, one of them had a little sharp edge on it and it scratched the paint off the tube, so I laid that one aside. It didn't, the band isn't hurt, we can always clean that up. I'll have to repaint the tube to recast that one, but that's okay. The one that I focused on, which was a pink knee-high, or peach knee-high cap for the video, that's the one I was focusing on. It's in the pressure pot right now. So there's 2 in the pressure pot, 3 on the bench. I got 5 total. Keep your fingers crossed this works out. I've been trying some new stuff. This is not a video about casting that I'm working on, so I just said, hey, I'm going to cast them now. You can watch the casting video to see how that's done. But I'm trying some new stuff. I've been told to use about 40 psi on my pot. I've got the pot set to 40 psi. I warmed up my resin, kept it, and my resin is warmed up in the house, and I kept my molds in the house. Lost my train of thought there for a second. So everything was at room temperature. The bee flowed a lot. It wasn't as smooth as water, which is where you want to get it. It was, but it was less thick than it has been. I needed to warm it just a little bit longer, and I think it would have been perfect. So anyway, I've got them in the pot. They're at 40 psi. I'm applying some of the things. I talked about some of these casters contacting me, and I'm applying some of the things they told me to do for this batch. And it's really for my own research and my own learning, because I definitely trust them, and I think they led me down the right path. I just don't want to do a video on it until I get a chance to test it up. And then I'll come back and do a video and say, okay guys, here's some stuff that I've learned that makes this easier, maybe makes it better. And then I can kind of show you guys, my new and improved casting method. So that's done. What else? Oh, that's really all I've worked on today. I've spent the entire day tinkering with those. I'm really happy with how they turned out. I mean, I hate it that I scratched the tube, but that is what it is. I mean, that's going to happen when you're using a little sharp piece of metal. I shot a video this morning. No, wait. Yesterday, I uploaded a video this morning. We had an archery tournament this morning, and kids did great. We shot a video yesterday, and I got it edited and uploaded. My brain is on overload. Uploaded this morning about my new control box on the lathe, and asking people for help and advice on doing some testing. So far, I've got some pretty darn good stuff out there. I need to acquire some parts. That's coming up. This coming week, I'll try to get on eBay and check out some of the places people told me about and see if I can order some of these parts. I'm going to let you guys go, see what else I can get into, and I'll be back in touch shortly. Since I talked to you last, I've been doing just a little bit of painting. Let me show you what I've been working on. This is a little piece of cherry that was sent to me by Jim Zimmerman. He brought it down to me from Minnesota, and I went ahead and put some paint on it to help with checking. It's still pretty damp. It's going to take a long time for it to dry. I don't have a good way right now to be able to cut this up, but it's going to take a couple years to dry. By the time it gets dry, things could change for me. You never know. I use a little bit of latex paint just to cover both sides. You can see that I got it on the back as well. And here's the other thing I've been painting. This is a burl. It's a monster. Jim also brought that to me. Just take a look at that. It is huge. The wood on the outside here had some gorgeous, gorgeous design to it. It was really, really wet. It has lost weight since he dropped it off, which means the moisture is evaporating. So I went ahead and covered all this up, both the side here and the side. I think that this was the bottom. I think this was the top. And it was just on the side of a tree. So the tree got brought down and the burl got brought to me. And like I said, I really have no way to cut those up right now whatsoever. Maybe a handsaw or a chainsaw maybe. But in a couple of years, when those have dried out sufficiently, you never know what I might have. I've got that big bandsaw back there. I've been toying with the idea of setting it back up, but quite honestly, I think I'd rather sell it and buy another one. Maybe like a 14-inch Laguna or something would be really nice. It'd take up a lot less floor space, be a lot easier to move around the shop. And, that's a behemoth. That thing is for steel. It's heavy duty. It weighs 900 pounds, and I got it on wheels. But it's just, it's a pain. So I need something that's a little bit more conducive to the type of work that I do. So I don't know. Let me do a little thinking on that and see what I can come up with. Well, everybody, I've been busy. Let me show you what I just got done making. This is nothing fancy, but these are some little tubes, plastic tubes Mike Fulton sent me. And I just used a couple of cutoffs from my, when I made my pressure pot stands to build a little rack for my scroll saw blades. I need to get these labeled, these tubes labeled, and get the rest of my blades sorted in there. It became painfully obvious to me as I was cleaning out my toolbox drawer the other day that my blades were just jammed in there. They had tools thrown on top of them. Some of them were damaged to the point where I had to pitch them. You know, they're not super expensive, but you know, there's no sense tearing something up until you need to use it, right? But anyway, that's good. My alarm went off. I need to go get my blanks out of my pressure pot, and keep your fingers crossed they turned out okay. I'll show them to you here in a little bit. As promised, guys, take a look at these. They're crystal clear. Now notice on the blue one, there's a thumbprint at the top and the bottom. They're still a little bit sticky. I think it's the cold weather, maybe keeping them from fully curing. So I'm not gonna mess with anything else. They're crystal clear all the way through. That thumbprint at the bottom and the one at the top where I touched it, they'll get turned away. It's not gonna hurt a darn thing. I'm gonna take this in the house and leave it at room temperature for a day. We'll see if they're still tacky tomorrow. Hopefully they're not. And we can pop them out, and I'll be sure to show them to you in the next video. Thanks for following along with me, guys. I'm calling it a night. I've got a few things I need to do, some family things. So we're going to get on with that. And I really appreciate you hanging out with me. I'll see you again real soon. Take care. Have a great evening.